Thanks again for inviting me to share our kind of journey with Revizto. We view the relationship we have with Revizto more as a partnership and collaboration as opposed to a software vendor. So we thank you for being so responsive to our needs, and we can be needy at times. So our journey basically started back in 2016. Actually, it was a built conference where Luke presented at on NRA and presented his journey with Revizto that got us interested in Revizto and how it could work for us. So that was quite some time ago. Since then, we've clicked up over 339 projects, 1,082 collaborators, 3,264 reports, 43,840 drawing sheets, and the big number, 1,222,675 issues have all been identified and resolved via Revizto.
Have you flicked slides, mate? Because we're still seeing the Revizto Plus slide.
Oh, that's probably because it's crashed. I'll just reshare.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for that. Is it flicking slides now?
It's still sharing.
Classic, it would be me that has the problems with Zoom. How's that looking?
Now?
Brilliant. And it's flicking. Michael shared screens on the other side. Anyway, I'll flick through the numbers because I've already talked about them. 2021 introduces a new era of collaboration. We feel pretty strong with Revizto Plus that it's hit the nail on the head, particularly for the way we want to work. And this presentation is covering some of the aspects of that. Prior to Revizto Plus, our workflow, it's probably our past workflow now, was we'd have to export data, we'd have to federate data, we'd have to analyze that data, and then we'd publish it to Revizto. Then we'd be able to report on it, then we'd be able to share it with teams, and then we'd kind of get busy making the corrections. And that was a reasonably efficient process for us. We'd worked hard to refine every step of the process, but it was still feeling like there was opportunity for refinement. What we're calling collaboration evolved. Now we just kind of jump straight to exporting stuff to Revizto. We jump straight to sharing that information. Then we analyze, then we report, and then we can get busy revising the models. So I want to kind of talk through a case study that we're doing live. This was a case study that we ran Revizto Plus on in the closed beta. We were very fortunate to have proactive, I guess, innovative clients, project managers, and a consultant team that we were working with. And a little shout out to the University of Otago, the Building Intelligence Group, Barker Garden, Calibre, Cosgroves, Pedersen Reed, and Becker for coming on this journey with us. What we've loved about Revizto, search sets. Brett's already talked about search sets, and I think the strategy for almost mandating search sets is brilliant, because once you start to leverage the search sets and the data that it can expose within the model environment, the world really does change. Coupled with that, we love the appearance profiles. You build your search sets right, and then the appearance profiles can really be tailored and tuned to suit any needs throughout the life of the project. And then probably kind of third on that list is I really love the metadata favorites. Being able to set up favorites for different types of metadata is a real nifty little feature in Revizto. And I think the thing I love the most with that is it then enables the hot bubble. You can just hover over something and see data about something, and I'll give a wee demo of that. Obviously, I got to mention Clash automation. Sorry, I spelt that wrong. What I love around the Clash automation is the ability to create zones, proper zones, like true three-dimensional zones and have Revizto respond to those zones. Second to that, I really do get excited with the chained grouping by proximity. I'll show you what that does. Of having reviews with our team over 1 million clashes, and we know that if they were all ungrouped, there's probably closer to 2 million clashes that have been filtered through and identified across all of our projects in this timeline. The chained proximity grouping is next level in the way that you can itemize and make sense of very complex building projects. I can't go past mentioning stamps. Stamps are such an important feature in our workflow now, and it ties directly into the clash automation and the way we use the issue tracker, which also tie directly into the issue presets and the dashboard. So I'll kind of touch on all of these in the next 10, 15 minutes if I don't go over time. So I'm going to start at the start of our journey. The start of our journey starts with understanding our, I guess, coordination matrix, or I guess, clash automation matrix. We really kind of sat back and looked at all of our issues that we were tracking, all of the requests we were getting from clients and consultant teams, from contractors and subtrades, and we started to map out at a very granular level what was important to each stakeholder, their priority, their tolerance, and in doing this exercise, I guess it became quite clear that if we could standardize the naming of or grouping or the classification of each of these issues, we could create a system that could be automated. And I guess we sat down to do this with Revizto Plus in mind, but at the time we made this, we were taking a leap of faith. We didn't have hands-on with Revizto Plus at this time, but we had insight that it was coming. I guess we just responded to that leap of faith. We have around 260 individual clash tests in this matrix, and Revizto Plus has allowed us to essentially automate all of it, which is really exciting. The next place that I'm going to jump to is jump to the Revit environment. And I think for us, and what Revizto Plus has done is really enabled a bunch of workflows that we were having to invent workflows and workarounds on top of workflows to kind of achieve an outcome. One of the outcomes that we were wanting to achieve with our work, and because we work with a diverse range of client teams and consultant teams and contractor teams, is we were wanting to get some consistency, particularly with the look and feel of the Revizto environment, and having models coming in and every stakeholder having their own kind of appearance or view setting. We were wanting a way of controlling that. In our previous workflow, that was quite time consuming and it was quite cumbersome. It wasn't easy to transport. And with Revizto Plus, we were able to build our search sets to then link with our appearance profiles to really kind of transport that to another level. So one of the things that we're doing in the Revit space is directly linking from BIM 360. So all of the models come through into a federated model space. I'm using some basic extrusions to create macro zones for the different buildings as three-dimensional spaces. And then inside there, we're using some, I guess, view filters to create some coloring that we're bringing directly through into Revizto, which is an exciting move. It means this is templatable at a Revit level. I can swap out all the link files at will and transport this from project to project with relative ease. And then to get it into Revizto, which is, was commenting to a colleague, Michael, earlier today, I was running two projects side by side. One was in our previous workflow, one was in our new workflow. I was commenting that all I had to do was click this button in our new workflow, whereas the other project had several buttons to click and took infinitely longer. So once it's in Revizto, and I guess at the face of it, it looks pretty much like how we were always doing it. The big changes that we've made with Revizto Plus was in preparation for the clash automation, which links back to that clash matrix that we saw before. We're heavily using the search sets tool or feature inside Revizto. We've mimicked, I don't think we necessarily followed Revizto in this space. We kind of got it at the same destination at the same point. But creating some coordination search sets that mimic our matrix meant that we removed a lot of duplication, got a lot of power from it. Our classification system's just a alpha system, and each of these search sets nest inside another search set, which might be an object category search set, or it might be a object property search set, depending on the type of object that we might be wanting to search for. Compound objects, or I like to call them compound objects, things like ducts and pipes, often have different items that we want to separate out. This allows us to do a whole bunch of really cool stuff. If we just want to see all the supply air ductwork, right click, isolate, bang, there it is. But it also means that we can test on that and report on that as an individual item. I'm going to say big shout out, thank you to the Revizto team for pulling the home button back. Love it. It's my favorite button. In terms of the clash automation, I just spoke briefly about the 200 plus clash tests. What I love about it is you can grab them all and then just run it, and it runs so fast. I kid you not. The previous workflow, it used to take hours on some of our projects. Just the time saving alone and being able to come in, select one button and run it and have it run and complete in minutes is a big saving. But the stamps and the way we can filter these items is a big plus. So we use a classification system where we kind of group the big stuff, the small stuff, and the trivial stuff, so we can report on it in separately and also direct different teams to it. But we've doubled down on the stamping, and the stamps for us do a couple of things. I'm going to talk a wee bit about the stamps. So the stamps are part of our, I guess, clash automation, and with our stamps I've set up templates for each type of stamp, which we can kind of come to, and we can edit this and I can quickly filter my list, so I can see all of the stamps in order or all of the names in order, but I can update a template and then apply it to all of the ones that have a similar stamp with a couple of clicks. In terms of the way we're templating it, we're templating both the grouping, some of the metadata, and really looking forward to when the clash or the issue automation comes online, so we can do more with that down the track. The grouping that we're doing in here, we're using a simple system of zone level chain proximity. And after tinkering around with the chain proximity, we found that 5 meters by 50 meters seems to be a really good fit. And I'll show you what that looks like. The stamps, so I talked a wee bit about stamps and why it's so important to us, or one of the nifty features that we found with the stamps was the ability to see in context. So I've already talked about the zones of this project, but if I turn on all of the kind of the issue flags, the stamps actually give us really good intel into where all of the issues are, and who have those issues, any particular part of the building. And then with the combination of the parents profile, I can quickly just jump into and interrogate the building within a few clicks of the mouse, knowing that I'm always getting to where I need to. Combine that with the issue presets in the issue tracker, I can then switch to another part of the building, filter those issues, jump back and see those changes update in real time. A simple little tag means so much. And the other bit that I like with this little tag is I love the fact that that has that little bit at the bottom that shows you the issue status itself, so you can track kind of the status of these items as they roll through as well. I mentioned about the properties of objects. So if I just highlight a project or an element here in this project, we're using a number of kind of favorites on these projects to understand different, I guess, constraints, moving parts, exposing the metadata behind it. What that means is when I'm suddenly looking at an issue or something, and say I've got a clash that's been detected, I can hover over it and get some quick intel. So I don't need to double click to interrogate it. I can just hover over. I can see it's a 250 by 250 duct. I can see its bottom elevation is 2.4. I can see it's on level 1. So if I know that all ductwork needs to be 2.5, I can hover over it and see that the ductwork is below 2.5 in a glance as well. Just checking time. I could talk for hours about Revizto Plus, but I do want to show off that one feature, which is the grouping. On previous projects with our previous workflow, it was almost felt like a never-ending battle with being able to group and filter I guess the issues that were detected by the machine to make them sensible things. One of the things that I really love with Revizto Plus is you get to see the count of the number of items that are in this one issue. And for us, this was a game-changing moment to be able to come in, see the wood for the trees, use our appearance profiler. I'll just flick back to home. I'll jump on that again. And actually get a real kind of in-depth understanding that this one issue relates to an area that has multiple things going on with it that predominantly relates to structures and plant needing to be coordinated. A game-changing moment for our team and the way we review stuff, but also a game-changing moment for our teams that we work with, so they don't have to be, I guess, what's the right word, kind of immersed within thousands and thousands of issues. They can get meaningful issues at a glance, all pretty much automated. How are we going for time, guys?
We're okay. It's 8 more minutes. I guess we can extend by a few minutes as well. No one's going to mind. So if there's anything else you want to show,
I think the last thing, and Brett kind of touched on it, if you set your zones up, you can do your filtering based on zone as well. This building has got 4 distinct sub-buildings in it, and being able to kind of come in and actually filter on these items, and I can go up here and I can add zone as an actual filter item, and then I can go and look at all of the issues that relate to the building that is being coordinated now, highlight them all. Game-changing moment to be able to see all of those things in one foul swoop. It is taking a lot of pain out of the, I guess, the tedium of having to go through hundreds, thousands of individual issues. I can now look at the big issues. I can have the big conversation and mitigate all of the little conversations in the process. So I hope others will jump on board. There is a lot to uncover with Revizto Plus. I'm only scratching the surface in a 15-20 minute presentation. It is game changing.